Hi, Judge Andrew Napolitano here, and you are on Freedom Watch with my good friend and colleague from the mountains of West Virginia, to Fox News' digital politics editor, the inimitable Chris Stirewalt.
Uh-oh, I better deliver now, Judge.
All right, so if the government shuts down at the end of the week, who gets the blame? Republicans, Democrats, White House, Congress? How does that come out?
Well, everybody, but the question is, who gets the most and who can sustain it the longest? This becomes, if it happens, it becomes an endurance exercise. And remember, we have never been here before. There has never been a moment in American history where you had a government shutdown with one party in control of both houses of Congress and the White House. So we don't know, because in the years past, there's a fairly rote course that follows from here. You have the shutdown, and then the administration makes it as bad as possible to try to put as much heat on Congress as possible.
Right.
What if the White House didn't make it as bad as possible? What if they sequenced the obligations in such a way that things that were popular and important got funded, and they starved out other agencies? This gets us into a whole new turf, so who knows?
Now, I don't want to get too into the weeds, but if the government shuts down, will it be because the Republicans can't get 60 votes in the Senate, or because the Freedom Caucus has deserted Paul Ryan and company in the House?
Well, it's an if-then. So if the House Republicans cannot pass what we would call a clean spending measure, basically a continuation of spending at current levels while negotiations continue on a larger deal, if they can't do that in the House, it's all on the Republicans, because then they've never even put those Senate Democrats to the test.
Got it.
If they pass in the House, then the ball goes over to the Senate side, and then the pressure starts to occur for moderate Senate Democrats who don't want to seem like they're responsible for this, especially over illegal immigration.
Aren't the Democrats going to have a field day blaming the Republicans for the reasons you articulated in answer to the first question? Republicans control the whole government?
They will, and I think here's the shorter answer. Chaos redounds to the benefit of Democrats. The worse things seem in Washington, the more inept or incompetent or outrageous, all of those things redound to Democrats' benefit, in the sense that their platform for 2018 is it's out of control, this is on fire, things are not normal. If that's the vibe that's reinforced in a shutdown, then you will see those persuadable voters move to the Democratic side to look to put a check on Trump and the Republicans.
All right, so wear your philosophical hat now.
Okay.
For those of us who believe that government is best which governs least, is a shutdown really that bad a thing, Chris?
Yes, and here's why.
Killing me.
Here's why, because they always pay everything in the end. They shut it down for a period of time.
So no money is saved.
Actually, it's worse than that. Extra money is expended because they're paying back pay to workers for work they did not do, number one. But number two, the atrophy that comes into programs while they are temporarily suspended, it's like restarting a car. It takes more energy to restart the car than it does to keep it running.
Wow. So nobody will really gain from this other than whoever can score the most points by blaming the other side. And the taxpayers will suffer egregiously.
But we'll get to talk about it, so we also benefit. So
all right. What are the chances of a one-year budget with major spending cuts being enacted in the next 2 days? None and none?
Nil. Okay. Zero.
Is the president in favor of the spending cuts that he preached about when he was candidate Trump?
No, they had a budget. White House produced its budget in last year, and they said, here we are, and this is what we'd like to do. We've seen that when those budget priorities are put to the test, nobody wants to do it. Remember, everybody likes low taxes and high spending. That is the default position of every polity in the world. Everybody would like that because it would be free and fun and easy. And as long as you don't care about having a national debt of more than $20 trillion, then just keep burning it, right?
All right. Has Donald Trump dropped his mantra, I can get rid of the entire federal government debt in 8 years?
Yeah, that one went quickly. That train departed the station quickly. But look, we should be fair-minded about this. The lies that every politician tells about debt and deficit are the first ones to be exposed, because, as I say, voters say that they want less debt, but what they still want are low taxes and high spending, and there's no way to do that other than basically kiting checks in the name of posterity.
All right, so if this thing continues with a 2-month continuing resolution here and a 1 month there, and the borrowing continues and the spending continues pretty much as it is now. At the end of Donald Trump's present term, the federal government will have $25 trillion in debt and $1 trillion a year in debt service. How much longer can that go on?
Well, until there's a problem. It's like embezzling. It's like any other mischief of that nature. Everything's fine until it isn't. And one day for the United States, if interest rates go up or we face a threat from foreign countries or foreign banks start to withhold lending from us and it becomes more dear for us to borrow money, we'll get into a problem. Because remember, most of the money that the government spends is already spoken for. It's in the form of entitlement spending or legacy spending. The amount that we're playing with every year in terms of what we call discretionary spending is a sliver, and it's heading down to a sliver of a sliver.
If the government shuts down and money is due to bondholders, do they get paid or is that deferred?
No, they get paid first. They eat first.
I know they eat first, but do they eat during the shutdown?
So we should always think of it as not a government shutdown. It's a partial government shutdown. Under the 1974 Budget Act, which created the modern norm, this things like budget reconciliation and all these other things we've had to learn about, under these rules, there is a protocol. The shutdown, as we call it, is a penalty built into existing rules about budgeting, that if you fail and you can't do it, these, what we call non-essential functions, are cut off. But not cut off are service on our debts, payments to our military, Social Security, and entitlement programs. Those things will continue to be. Air Force One will continue to have plenty of Perrier in the cooler. But in terms of what happens for the ordinary government offices, ranging from national parks to the USAID, remember, there's 2 million civilian employees of the federal government. For most of them, this means take a break.
Got it. Chris, always an education chatting with you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Judge.
From New York, defending freedom whenever they let me, Judge Andrew Napolitano here. See you next time, America.